did you know goldenrod makes an excellent tea?
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear Aaron.
Me.
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity.
Or what's inside. You suck. Finally, we're going to reveal the... Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Tomic's... veteran of the comic book industry for 30 years, I'm a writer, I'm an artist, and this sucks.
Tonight's episode, Crossfire.
Don't start! We haven't left yet!
Welcome, everybody. It is once again time for Aaron Live. It's August the 18th, 2024. And I just polished off a Dutch energy drink that my daughter forces upon me every time she's home visiting. Woo! I'm ready to rock and roll. I can tell you that. Last week, there was no show because I found out that Ethan was doing an art auction. And, oh, by the way, if you bid on anything from me on the art auction, if you got anything, it's been mailed out. It's been mailed out. I mailed it out. So you should be getting it any day now if you haven't received it already. But anyway, so he's having an art auction. I thought, well, I'm not going to stream against, especially on a closeout. I go, I'm not going to stream against Ethan. And so he said, well, yeah, we'll close you out and do the art stream. So we did that for about 4 hours. And then I was going to come back and maybe do a late night version of this very show. And then Malin goes, oh, no, come over to my channel. I'll host. I'm like, okay. So I go over to Malin's, and then Shane showed up, and it turned into a junior high locker room talk. But, you make the sacrifices. I do appreciate Malin hosting me late night, and Ethan as well. We did really well on the closeout of Kit Carter. It's going to seem very odd moving forward not talking about Kit Carter, except to tell you guys it's at the printers, or it's going to be here next week, or that kind of thing. But that's kind of the situation. It's at the printers, and I'll get an update out probably Monday on what they're telling me printing date is on that. So it's now we're all focused on Wraith of God 3, Fear Hollow. But we'll talk a little bit about all that stuff and much, much more, because today's show is basically last week's show that I didn't get to do. So I did all this prep work. I got all this stuff together for at least a 3-hour show, because I figured I'm going to be going a while, right? It's a closeout stream. And then didn't use any of it. So that's why you saw the opening that said featuring Kit Carter and Merv, because it was supposed to be last week's episode, which I never used. So we're using it this week. So I got a ton of stuff. So I'm not going to go for 3 hours tonight because I got to cook dinner. There's people counting on me. But I do have a lot of stuff. So we'll go through what I can get through and in a reasonable amount of time, and then we'll move on from there. But let's say hello to our friends here in the chat. Let's do that. Repairman Jack says, I'm first. He is indeed first. He was actually the first one in the house. And you know what you get for that? You get nothing for that, but we do appreciate your participation on the show. Mark Pengren is here. He says he was lucky that he wasn't first because he was second, or lucky that Repairman Jack was first. Leg Kick is here because Leg Kick is, well, he's nearly almost always here. Repairman Jack, there he is again. Barbara Paulson joining us. She says, "Hail, Aaron. Maybe Shelley. Looking forward to your show." Shelley won't be joining us tonight. Unfortunately, she went in for some physical therapy. They did like massage on her neck, and she's had a headache. I shouldn't laugh. She's had a bad headache for a couple of days since she went through physical therapy and they really worked her neck over. So unable to make an appearance today, but she sends her love. Caleb Reynolds is here. Woohoo! Hail the chat. Hail, Aaron. Thank you, Caleb. Randy Howell, all the way from Canada, is back to being a regular in the chat, which warms my heart. There's, let's see, who else is here? The Geekies, he says, I'm back. So he has returned. Bretsky the Great joining us. Citizen Ronan. Creative Faye says, hi, Aaron. This sounds like a great lineup. Crash McCreary does a sketchbook tour on the Trojan Horse Was a Unicorn's YouTube channel. So if you want to get more from Crash, check that out. Past Master Dan is joining us. Aaron, Creative Face says, Aaron, have you ever heard of Lightbox? I've heard of a Lightbox, but not the Lightbox. It's a convention for illustrators and aspiring illustrators. Where's it at? I am unfamiliar with it. There's Marcus Killer Group, purveyor of all things pop culture knowledge. Fox Mulder, who is saving up his money for when I put Kit Carter artwork on the campaign, which I never did. I'm sorry, I suck. I still haven't called up Matt Ryan and split up the pages. I've got to do that this week because he inked the book, so he gets some of the pages. But I don't know. I will be offering them up for sale, some of them anyway. I don't know if maybe I'll do it on the Wraith campaign. We shall see. I've got some production art for Wraith that's going to go up, obviously, too, on there. Maybe I'll throw some Kit Carters up there. It's all part of one big Empire Comics happy family. Does it matter which campaign it's on? I don't think it does. But stay tuned for that. Squeaky's here. Thanks for joining us, Squeaks. I hope your painting went well. Let's see here. Who else we got? Timothy Mello. They call him Mellow Yellow. Heat Miser's joining us. Apex Comics. Major Corn Dog joining us. Thanks for joining us here. Major Corn Dog says, I totally missed the closeout as you moved sites. I get it, though. Well, when you do closeouts on other people's channels, the one thing is, for me anyway, if I'm doing a closeout, it's like I feel like I'm, like overly touting myself constantly, and that makes me uncomfortable. If you're on someone else's channel, they do it for you, so you're just kind of like, hey, so you feel a little bit better. You don't feel quite so self-centered, even though that's the whole purpose of it. And like I said, I had plenty of stuff ready to go, but we're going to get it this week, so you'll get it either way. Let's see here now. There's Sequential Treasures. James, thanks for joining us. J Dread, Headless Bourgeoisie, Daniel Russell, 2 hours and 59 minutes. Not really sure what he's insinuating there. Jimmy Owens is joining us. He says, hello, my friend. Hope you and Shelley are well. Sorry, been distant, very ill. Sorry to hear that, Jimmy, but we appreciate you taking a few moments and squeezing in here. I got to meet Jimmy, of course, at the Washington State SummerCon, along with a lot of other of you guys in the chat as well. It was great fun. There's Andino Palazzo. Hey, let's see. Sean Thompson joining us. How about that? Hello, Sean. Iodine 74. I am present. I must also say, love the thumbnail. Of course, he's talking about the T-Rex drawing by Crash McCreary. Let's see here. Kotha Raven, Lewis Bright Raven is here. Comics Mate is joining us. Doc Brewski, Aaron, will you be having any $5 sales? On original art, probably not. Spaceman's here. The Angry Gamer. The Green Laser. Matthew Mumma. And I think I got everybody. Geek Avenger hasn't shown up yet, but I'm sure he will shortly. All right, let's get this show on the road. You know, when I first started doing this show a couple of years ago, I thought, you know, you look okay on screen for an older guy. You look okay. But then as time went along, you start going, I don't look so good anymore. But thankfully, this little thing on your settings showed up and said, let's see, what does it say exactly? It says, touch up my appearance is what it says. And it has a slider on it. And so you go, okay, I'm going to slide it just a little. Oh, yeah, that's better. So now I've got it pushed all the way over to the edge, and I'm trying to push it to even do more. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? But I'll say this, please, everybody that's joining us right now, please hit the like and subscribe. It's an important part of what we do here, liking stuff and subscribing to it. There you go. Should I do a snack today? I've already had an energy drink. Do I go beyond that? Sure, why not?
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Stopped on the way back from church. I stopped at Trader Joe's and got some of those sea salt brownies. So moist. A lot of people hate the word moist. I kind of like it. It makes me think of cake, but good cake. Well, while I'm eating, and perhaps you're snacking as well at home, let's take a look at our Frazetta image of the day, shall we? And I said this last week that the mucker, pardon my language, that was like my mom. Like, Mom, can I get the mucker? She'd go, what's your language? I said, mucker. Anyway, so that, and then this one, Return of the Mucker, are two of my favorite Frazetta paintings. I don't know why. I just did this one especially. You've got the horse. You got the mucker grabbing the bandito around the neck, and you got that big, muscly arm shot there. I just like the color scheme. I like the drawing. I just think this is primo Frazetta. And it's weird because it's kind of most people, if you're going to pick a favorite Frazetta, it's going to be some fantasy type painting. And this really isn't. It's more of an adventure type painting. And I don't know. I don't really have a reasonable excuse on why, but I really love both those paintings. Now, I wouldn't drop $500,000 on one of them like I would a couple other Frazetta paintings, but just in terms of I get a poster of it because I like it. That's all I got to say. I can't express any other sort of reasonable explanation, but it just sticks with me a little bit. So, all right. So what I was going to do last week, we'll just kind of go that same format. One of the things I wanted to do, now, those of you who know, Kit Carter has closed out. It's officially over. There are some extras. Well, there will be. I mean, I don't have the books yet, but I've got roughly 200 extra sketchbooks and, 150, 140. Well, probably 120 would be probably safe. Anyway, those will be, after the campaign's fulfilled, those will be going up on my website, there's not very many movie posters extras. In fact, there's only like, I think 15. They still have not been delivered. They've been sitting in a hub in Portland for a week and a half. They've already scheduled an appointment to deliver and not shown up. My head was exploding last week. I was yelling at people on the phone. Can you imagine that? Me yelling at people on the phone and nothing is getting done. So I turned it over to the printer. I said, you sent these with these jokers, you take care of it. And so essentially what's going to happen if the posters do not show up by the middle of next week in one piece, they're going to reprint them and send them again. So, but anyway, regardless, it'll get done. But but I've only got 15 extra because I had a mad rush at the end after I ordered these. And so I thought I was going to have about 50 extras and I'm going to have like 15. And that's provided none of them get damaged. So whatever is extra on the movie posters will be put up on my website after fulfillment, but there won't be many, if any. There'll be, have a couple hundred extra soft covers, about 40 extra hard covers. So there'll be, if you miss basically what I'm saying is if you miss the campaign, you will still be able to get one. If you see all your friends reading Kit Carter and go, oh my gosh, we loved it. And you're like, why didn't I back it? You'll still be able to get copies. They'll be a little bit more expensive, but hey. So anyway, but that'll be after fulfillment. So, but one of the things I wanted to do last week, I'm going to do it anyway, just for fun, is kind of go over the brief history of Kit Carter as we sort of put her to rest for, as a campaign anyway. The very first thing I was able to find that I did that could be considered Kit related was this portfolio that I did back in 2001. That's 23 years ago, folks. Now, as you can see, we had like, this is really dumb, but Kit this is a portfolio that I did because I'm such a 70s guy. I'm always trying to, bring back my youth, despite the fact that nobody wants it. I keep thinking there's an audience out there for this, and I keep finding out that there isn't. But this was a collection of prints, signed and numbered, excuse me, by me, of course. And so there was, what was there in there? Five prints, and then one black and white, and then there was a color one, which was this Kit Carter one. So what happened was I did this, and as you can see, she wasn't named Kit Carter at this point. This was just a space babe with a monkey partner. There was no name, there was no concept beyond this drawing. And as you can see right here, she has like a leotard on with no leg coverings. And look at these boots. They're like Star Trek boots, kind of slip-ons. And I thought, this makes no sense. They're on some alien planet where the atmosphere, they have to breathe in oxygen in bubble helmets, and yet she has no pants on, essentially. So I changed the inside drawing and gave her pants, more similar to, what we see Kit Carter wearing now. And so there was a full color print in there of her with pants. But anyway, it's the same drawing, but just with, pants. Anyway, so this would have been the first incarnate or the first bubble helmet space girl that I remember drawing or, have any record of me actually drawing. But again, this was just kind of, I don't even know where the monkey concept came from. I just think that, monkeys in space has been around forever. And I just kind of threw one in there. Now, I did when Seattle was, when I used to go to the Seattle show, the Emerald City Comic Con, they would have a art book every year that raised money for Dornbecker's or St. Jude's Children's Hospital. One of those two. I think it was St. Jude's, actually. And so I did this piece for the book. And this was back in 2010. That was the first time that I kind of realized that they were doing this book and I wasn't contributing. Maybe I should start contributing. So this is another version of what eventually would become Kit Carter. Now you can see it has kind of that ribbing on the side that I kept in the costume, at least to a certain degree. I eliminated some of it, probably because drawing this every panel would be too complex, or I'm just too lazy. And she had the metal boots. Okay, she didn't have like superhero type boots, which she has in the graphic novel. But anyway, but this still was not Kit Carter. It was just a space girl. Okay, but then shortly after, in 2012, I had to come up with a concept for my sketchbook cover. And I was tired of using Marvel and DC characters. Even at this point, I was kind of like, I need to start pushing my own stuff and quit pushing Marvel and DC because it's not benefiting me. So I came up with this design and I liked it so much. I thought this should probably be a print. And so it didn't end up being the cover to the sketchbook. And I'll be honest with you, I can't remember what I did put on the cover. I think I ended up putting a Wonder Woman type image on the cover anyway. But so this turned into a print. And then this is when I first named her, because it was like, oh, I wanted to do this kind of like faux 50s sci-fi serialized movie, kind of thing as a joke. And so I came up with Kit Carter, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't say Space Ranger, because of course that would have been Toy Story. So Galactic Ranger versus the Astro Zombies. So this is actually the first official Kit Carter image, way back in 2012. And these prints are available on my website, even as we speak. Slavic One says, were you inspired by Barbarella? No, I wouldn't say I was uninspired. The people that inspired me were, if you remember, Dave Stevens did a couple of Bubble Helmet Space Girl covers for not Planet Comics. What was it? Something for Pacific Comics. What was it called? And then I saw another one that Stout did, kind of like the Marilyn Monroe character with the bubble helmet. And then, of course, I was familiar with all the EC stuff where all the sci-fi girls and guys had the bubble helmets. And so I was just like, that was kind of more the inspiration than movies and TV. It wasn't until to draw them. But then when I came up with the concept, then it started going back to kind of 50s sci-fi to create the movie poster thing. Fox Mulder, thank you for the $20. Appreciate that very much. Says, the longer you wait to put up the original art, the more dollars I'm able to save towards buying whatever you do decide to sell. Just want something to complement the beautiful Kit Carter episode 6 piece I bought from the campaign. Thank you so much for buying that. And I will do my best, Fox, to keep you supplied with original artwork. There it is, Alien Worlds. That's what I was thinking of. So, that's kind of what, seeing that stuff. And the image that Stout did was for an advertisement for like the Pacific Comic Company or something, like back in the 70s. But I'd seen it in like the price guide or the buyer's guide, excuse me. It was just an advertisement piece, but it was a great piece. And again, like I said, I was, it's all over EC Comics, right? All the sci-fi stuff. So, and that was stuff that I was a big fan of when I was a kid, even though, no, I wasn't a kid when ECs came out. This is like in the 70s when I was discovering all this stuff. So that all sort of fed into it. Well, after I did the first Kit Carter print, everybody was like, what is this? Is this a series? Are you going to do this? And I was like, oh, I hadn't really thought about it and blah, blah, blah. But then I started thinking about it, right? And I think the original art sold like that. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to do another one. So I came up with Kit Carter Galactic Ranger versus the Molten Menace. And at this point, there was no Merv the Astro Chimp. I had not incorporated into this concept yet, other than that original drawing back in 2001, but it wasn't, like I said, that wasn't Kit Carter. It hadn't evolved into Kit Carter yet. So at this point, I wasn't even thinking in terms of, Merv the Astro Chimp, because I wasn't thinking of actually doing any stories. They were just supposed to be these kind of goofy, like faux 50s movie poster type things, right? Of course, there's our good friend Schmagma the Lava Man, who appears not only in the 14-page Kit Carter backup story from Wraith of God 2, Blood Hunters, but also appears at the beginning of the graphic novel. One of my favorite characters that I've come up with, just fun to draw. But anyway, so this, of course, and then again, I had a lot of interest in this, right? And this print is also available on my website right now. They're 11 by 17, all comes signed, of course. And that's aaronlopresti.com. Can't miss it. Well, now, and I was doing stuff in sketchbooks at this point because I thought I want to do a series of these. So I've got a ton of sketchbook drawings, a lot of which are in the Kit Carter sketchbook. But one of them ended up finally making it to the cover of one of my sketchbooks. And there it is, almost finished. An Aaron Lopresti sketchbook back in 2011 again. So this is very, very early Kit Carter. I was still experimenting with the hair. The laser gun keeps changing. I like this monster a lot. I haven't used him since this, but I will. I got to incorporate him again. So anyway, and you can see there's different. I was trying different things with the spacesuit. So I was literally changing the spacesuit design practically every time I drew her. I actually do have a couple of those left. The thing with that sketchbook was it printed dark. Not so dark you couldn't see the images, but it was dark enough that aesthetically it bothered me and ticked me off. So I hardly sold any. I just kind of stashed them. I think I still have some, or I might have thrown them out, but I do believe I still have some. Okay, so now we're starting to get a streamlined feeling here for Kit's costume and what she looks like. And that appeared in Sketches 2013. This is the sketchbook cover. I don't have any more of these left. But as you can see, she still has the metal boots, or the gravity boots, perhaps we might call them. But you can see that look seems that's pretty close to what we've got going now. Of course, the gloves are different, but the ribbing on the side is about what it is now. And then people continued to ask about this. When is there going to be a series? When are we going to, And so I tried to come up with a story concept, right, that I could do a graphic novel of. And I couldn't strike the right tone. I couldn't find the right tone. I thought it needs to be funny, there needs to be some humor to it. But every time I started writing it, it would turn into this heavily dramatic thing, and you'd get into her backstory and all this angst and stuff. And I went, this is not what this should be. And so I really had a hard time getting a firm grip on the concept. And so then I thought, well, no, wait a minute. What if I did it as a newspaper strip? And what that helped me do was not worry so much about the character development, but to kind of get a sense of the joke and what level of humor could I use and what level of seriousness, how would this work together? So I did this, what I think I created, but maybe I didn't, was something I called a story print. Okay, so I made this print, 11 by 17, and it was basically the first is episode 1, Kit Carter. And you can see down at the bottom here, it was signed and numbered, limited to 250. And what people did when they bought this for $20, then they were able to get, I had a special spot on my website that if you had a password, that you could go in and read like 5 more episodes digitally. And so that's what I did. And I sold, I don't know how many of these I sold. But anyway, they're gone now. But I don't think I ever printed 250. I probably sold maybe 100. I don't know. So this was the first foray of Kit Carter into some sort of story. And then as I did these episodes, 1-page episodes, I started to put together in my head sort of a continuity and how this was going to work. Well, then all of you that have been supporting the Empire Comics campaigns will certainly recognize this, as it just came out not too long ago. This, of course, is the cover to Wraith of God 2, Blood Hunters, but it features the 14-page Kit Carter preview story, if you will. But what it was the first 14 episodes gag episodes, single page episodes that I created for Kit Carter. And by the time I got through that, those 14, I started feeling like, you know what? I've got a firm grip on this character. I know what I want to do story-wise. And so then it was easy to then make, of course, the final leap to Kit Carter graphic novel, which is at the printers even as we speak. So there you go. That is sort of the origin and evolution of Kit Carter. And I wanted to share that with all of you out there. And now you know. Now you know as much as I do, which isn't much, but at least it's something. The prints were colored in Photoshop. The sketchbook covers were marker and colored pencil. And but any of the covers were Photoshop. The single page episodes were colored in Photoshop. So the only thing that's painted is the movie poster artwork. So anyway, there you go. There are the origins of Kit Carter. And let's see. What else do I got? That's all I have for today. No, I'm kidding. I've got plenty. And let's move right along with this. I had a great Shelley nose, but Shelley obviously won't be joining us, but I'll save it for next week. One of the things that sort of became a bit of a theme this week is aliens, because of course, Alien Romulus is out and everybody's talking about that. And of course, on Graybeards, if you happen to catch that, we did Alien versus Predator. I did my own unique twist on that, which is basically Predator versus E.T., who of course is an alien. So I think it fits nicely in that category. But it got me thinking about, some of my favorite alien things, and not necessarily Alien the movie, the Geiger designed alien, but just aliens in general. And so then it allowed me to come up with this week's top 5. So yes, this is my top 5 movies with aliens in them, but not my top 5 alien trademark movies. Because actually, I think there's been more than 5 now, hasn't there? So what are my favorite movies that actually have aliens in them? When you sit there and think about it, you can only think about 2 or 3. But then when you look up like films with aliens on Google, there are literally hundreds. And then you go, oh my gosh, I've seen that, I've seen that, I've seen that, I've seen that. And you're like, oh yeah, War of the Worlds, I forgot about that. And there's a ton. So actually coming up with this list was really difficult. But I did it anyway. Geek Easy has a good pointer. He says, the Romulus sucked. First off, there wasn't one freaking Romulan in it. That's good. That's good. I've heard mixed. I've heard people say it's the best alien movie since Aliens. And then I've heard people say it sucked. So I don't know. I don't know what to believe. Yeah, there you go. The Day the Earth Stood Still. That's another one. Starman's another one. There's a ton of really good alien films, but this isn't like the best alien films. This is my favorite, my personal top 5 alien films. So let's get on with this and see what I think. This is what we call number 5. I'm going to go way back. No, yeah, I guess it is way back. Before I was born. I'm going to go with Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the original, which I happen to think is a great movie, very suspenseful. And I almost, I thought about the remake, the Don Siegel remake with Leonard Nimoy and Donald Sutherland, which is excellent. And the one thing about Invasion of the Body Snatchers is it's kind of depressing because it's like, there's a little bit of hope at the end of this one. But the remake is completely nihilistic. It's just like nothing matters. It's over. Humanity, we're done for, kind of thing. So it's very grim, although it's incredibly suspenseful and scary. Really, really well done. But you got to go back to the original, right? It's like, can you say John Buscema is better than Kirby when? I mean, I would. Well, maybe that's not a good example because I would say John Buscema is better than Kirby, but I recognize the fact that John Buscema would not have been successful without Kirby for him to emulate those dynamics from Kirby. So, but so can the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the second version, be better than the first? I suppose it could be from a technical aspect and from different aspects, but this is where it all got started, was right here. So I had to pick this. I love it. Kevin McCarthy's great in it. And maybe it's just because I'm an old wimp, but it's creepy and eerie, but it's not. It's 1950s scary, right? So it's not as scary as the more modern day incarnation of this would be. But there you go. Invasion of the Body Snatchers is my top 5. I'll watch that movie anytime it comes on. I absolutely love it. Here we go. Number 4. This one is always, I don't know, and that's not controversial, but it's polarizing, perhaps, maybe. I don't know. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. This is an interesting flick because it's not a scary movie. I mean, it does have its moments, I guess, when the kid gets kidnapped and stuff because you don't really know the intent of the aliens, right? But in Spielberg fashion, spoiler, they turn out to be nice guys at the end. So, but this is a really, really interesting film. And the more you watch it, the more meaning it seems to take on. And I saw this right on the heels of Jaws, right? So now I'm a huge Richard Dreyfuss fan because of Jaws. And so Richard Dreyfuss is in this, right? And Spielberg, of course, suddenly becomes my favorite director because of Jaws. So I go and see this. And although it's long and slow, it's engrossing. To me, it was just completely engrossing. And what I find is, if you take a look at this, it's this wonderful, do we want to say metaphor? Do we want to say allegory? Maybe allegory is the correct way to describe this. Now think about this. You get all these people that are, I don't know, mentally touched by the aliens, right? That are kind of driven to almost obsession about finding them and knowing more about them, right? So it starts off with all these people, lining up on the side of the road, waiting for the alien ships to come by. They've all been sort of given this intuition that they need to be there. There's a ton of people there. And then they see the alien ships come by, and that's where, Dreyfuss gets half his face sunburned because he's, looking like this as they fly by. And then he gets really obsessive, right? Starts building basically the Devil's Tower in Wyoming in his living room. And he finally hooks up with Melinda Dillon. His wife leaves him, Terry Garr, and the kids. And he hooks up with Melinda Dillon, and they head towards Wyoming. They're inexplicably drawn, right? But you have this huge group of people. Now it's less people are actually willing to make the drive. So they drive out there to Wyoming. And of course, there's, guards have blocked off the road and, but they don't believe it. They don't think that there's really this sort of contagion going around like COVID or something. So what do? They go off road and they get around the highway, they get around the blockade and they keep going, right? Where most people that were going got turned back by the army and they just went back home. So, but not these two. So they go and they get to a point where they're apprehended by the government, right? And then they're in there and they're, Francois Truffaut interrogates him. Why are you here? Blah, blah, blah. And Richard Dreyfuss just wants to know what's going on, right? So they load all the people that made it through, which is just like a van full, right? And they give them all gas masks, put them in the van. But Richard Dreyfuss, that's not enough for him. He has to get up to the mountain. So what does he do? Him, Melinda Dillon, and that one other guy pull the masks off. And the rest of them are too scared to do it. But they drop their mask and they start heading up the side of the mountain, the three of them, right? Well, then one of them gets gassed on the mountain. So now there's only two of them left. And then when they finally get up to the top, Melinda Dillon says, no, I can't, I don't have to go any farther. This is good enough for me. And Richard Dreyfuss is like, no, I got to go all the way. Okay. So what am I saying? I am saying that this is a perfect allegory for the artistic struggle, right? You got a bunch of people with talent, okay, or any achievement in life, but for me, it obviously personal. It's more personal because it's artistic. You got all these people with talent, and then but their ambition or drive gets them this far, and then they hit a roadblock and they quit. Then you get someone down here farther, and they get a little bit farther, a smaller group, and then they hit a roadblock, and then a larger group quits, and pretty soon you get all the way to the end and one survives, right? So I always thought it was a great allegory for the artistic struggle, or maybe just the struggle of life in general, and how far you get in your pursuits by how many roadblocks you're willing to jump over before you just get fatigued and say, I can't do anymore. And it's very interesting. Because you find people in different walks of life that, maybe were talented artistically or musically or whatever, acting, whatever. And they get to a point where they're like, you know what, this isn't working out. I'm going to go a different direction. And so I really found this interesting from that standpoint. So to me, it runs a little bit deeper than just a alien film, but that's my number 4. We got Fifth Element. I didn't like the Fifth Element. It's kind of punkish, and it didn't really resonate with me for some reason. Elbow Hendricks, I'm tired of listening to Shane, so I came here. Yes, there you go. Cleanse your palate before you go back. Just get a little cleansing here. You'll be fine. There you go, Wizard Sleeves. Wasn't there some truth to the story? Yes, I think that's kind of what I'm kind of pointing at. But some people look at it and they don't see it in that light, and they just go, oh, it's kind of long and boring. But I really liked it, and I still really, really like it. And it's considered a 4-star film out of 4. So it's when you look at classic films, and this gets really, really high critic ratings. So, there you go. Number 3. All right, you've been waiting for this one, and here it is, folks. Again, going back to the original, I'm going to go with Alien here. And I made this comment several times where, I'm sorry, wait a minute. Where was it? There we go. I did not count Star Trek because it's not really, the movies aren't really about the alien. They're about Kirk, even though Spock is an alien. But I did not include Star Trek films or Star Wars because they're more about the adventure. They're not really focused on necessarily the alien intrusion or this. And that's kind of what I focused on, was movies that had, that had aliens in them that were the antagonists. So anyway, this movie is a great horror film. Just happens to be set in space. Great monster film, great horror film. I thought Aliens, and I love Aliens, Cameron film, but that to me is always an action adventure film. They're very different films in my opinion, very different types of films. Aliens wasn't really scary. It was, you're on the edge of your seat. It's kind of a nail biter, but it's because of the tension and the action. And, this was scary. This was a scary, scary film, especially when I saw it in 79. I would have been 15. I probably wasn't even, I think somebody's big sister got us in because we weren't old enough to go see it. So we went with somebody who's, because you could go with, you had to be 17 or accompanied by a guardian to go see R-rated movies, right? And so we had a guardian take us in there and see this. Well, Spaceman says Aliens is plenty scary, but not like this. Not when you've got this one alien picking people off one by one, like that scene where Dallas is in the air duct, and he turns around with the flare or whatever, the light, and there's the alien right there. And oh God, that was but yeah, there's some very tense scenes in Aliens. And I think it's a great movie. I love Aliens, but I'm going to go, there's no Aliens without Alien, right? And it's not like Alien was a bad movie. They need to do Aliens to get it right. This is a great film. So that's what I'm going. I'm going with Alien here. That's my number 3. Yes, that's exactly right. It's a horror film. It's not a, so anyway, Let's take a look now at number 2 on my list. This definitely is an action adventure film, and it's just despite the blood and gore, it's pretty darn fun. And yeah, I'm going to go with Predator here. I was a big Arnold fan in the 80s. I knew he was a horrible actor. I mean, this is when I was in film school. I knew he was a horrible actor, but he was just, I wasn't a bodybuilder, but I was a weightlifter. And I idolized this since I was a kid. I idolized, Arnold as a bodybuilder. And then when you started seeing him just jacked out of his mind in these movies, and who cares if he can't act? I mean, give the guy credit. He picked really good projects for the most part. He picked really good directors to work with. And that's why so many of his films, even though, he can't act his way out of a wet paper bag, his movies are successful because he worked with really good directors. And this is McTiernan, John McTiernan, who Hunt for Red October. You might remember that. It's a pretty good movie. So McTiernan does this movie, and it becomes more than a B movie, right? And you got Stan Winston doing the Predator makeup, although Jim Cameron claims a little bit of ownership there in the design, but Stan Winston actually did the effects. So, and iconic Alien creation, right? Alien, of course, the previous choice is iconic, but Predator, come on. One of the great filmic alien creations of all time, where you can actually take a villain from a single movie and turn it into its own franchise. That means you've done pretty good with your design work. Shane Black's script. There you go. He was actually in the movie too. You look huge, Aaron. It's not fair. I'm gigantic. I started, 6'2". Actually, I shrunk though. I'm like a little under 6'2". Now I'm really disappointed about that. But compression of old age, I guess. I just started the 28-day chair workout today. Did the first one. And I thought, I was looking at the exercise going, oh, come on. This isn't going to do anything. I felt it just after doing like the 6 exercises or whatever they are in 20 minutes. I felt it. So we'll see what I look like in 28 days or 27 more days. Day 1, I'm done with. So on to day 2. Yes, McTiernan did Die Hard. Which did he do? He did a Schwarzenegger film too, didn't he? Oh yeah, this one. Okay, yeah. I was thinking. Okay, I was thinking James Cameron in my head for a minute. No, yeah, McTiernan did Die Hard, so he's done. Hunt for Red October, Predator, Die Hard. The guy's a good director. So anyway, that's number 2, and I'll watch this whenever it's on. I mean, you got to have the right audience. Obviously, my wife's going to go, "That's gross. He's pulled his skull out of his body," and so you're not bringing the kids to this, but for over 17 entertainment, there you go. Okay, number 1. Anybody that knows me or watches this show, anyone who knows me or watches this show very much would be able to pick this one out. It's a good thing Graham Nolan's not here. No, it's not Star Trek 2, but it is John Carpenter's The Thing. I'm a huge Kurt Russell fan, and I realize that Kurt Russell is one of those guys. He's not, Academy Award type actor like, I don't know, throw somebody in there. But he's got a great screen persona. You really like him, no matter what character he plays. You really like him. Is that likability factor, kind of like Tom Hanks, except I like him more than Tom Hanks. In fact, I've come to a point where I don't like Tom Hanks at all anymore. But despite his personal and private politics, Tom Hanks does have a really pleasant screen presence, much like Jimmy Stewart or something like that. Kurt Russell is the same way, but in a different way. He's more of an action adventure rough and tumble kind of guy. So that may be affecting my judgment here because I am just a big Kurt Russell fan. And also, remember, we had before this was Escape from New York, which I also loved. So this came out and I was like, yeah. The John Carpenter, Kurt Russell trilogy, Escape from New York, The Thing, and then of course Big Trouble in Little China. All three of those movies I absolutely love for different reasons, but love them. And I'm not always a huge Carpenter fan, but these were terrific. And of course, Halloween was great. Halloween 2, not so much. But Halloween was great. And then you can, some people like The Fog. I'm okay on The Fog. And there's other stuff that he did that I kind of just sort of didn't really follow, like They Live and things like that. I didn't really stay with Carpenter, but these really appealed to me because Kurt Russell was in them. So I went and saw him. And I love this. This is where Graham will kill me. I love this more than the original. And I do love the original. But the original is just this space monster. This is much scarier to me. And that whole feeling of paranoia. Evil One for $2. I'm disappointed E.T. isn't your number one pick. I have come to loathe E.T. I loved it when it came out, like everybody did, right? And then the more you see it, the more, and the older you get, the more you understand how overly sentimentalized the movie is to a point of you almost feel like you're being manipulated. And so I don't like it as much anymore as I did. I still think it's a great film in terms of all the measuring sticks to make a great film, but it does get old just because of that sort of emotional manipulation going on there. And also the other thing with The Thing is the incredible special effects by Rob Bottin. And whatever happened to Rob, he's like gone into seclusion, right? I mean, his mentor, Rick Baker, is still on Instagram. If you guys are not following Rick Baker on Instagram, you are missing out because he keeps doing new masks. I mean, he's like retired, right? But he keeps making stuff and showing it on his Instagram. And it's really, really cool. So if you're into that stuff, follow Rick Baker on Instagram. But I don't know what happened to Rob Bottin. He just apparently dropped out. But this was next level stuff. And this was before they started giving Academy Awards for makeup design, I think, wasn't it? Or did the first one they give didn't Baker win the first one for American Werewolf? That would have been 81. This was 83. So they might have been giving the awards out, but he didn't win for this, which is ridiculous to me. I mean, this was just mind-numbing stuff. Really, really good stuff. Sean Allen for £2 says Clint Eastwood needs some love. What Clint Eastwood horror movies are we even? Oh, there's an alien in it. What am I missing? Play Misty for me? That wasn't an alien. What film did Clint Eastwood make that had the aliens in it? I can't. Maybe there was, and I'm just not thinking. But what was I going to say? You got me thinking about something else. I was going to make a point, and then I just lost it because I went back to trying to think if there was a Clint Eastwood alien movie out there that I'm missing. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Louis Brightraven says the last stuff Bottin worked on was Game of Thrones. Okay, well, that wasn't that long ago. Angry Gamer says Childs was the Thing. Was he? See, I don't believe McCreary was the Thing. I mean, when did he have time to become the Thing? We were with McCreary the whole time, right? So I think the only question is, was Childs the Thing or was neither one of them the Thing? I don't think there's a question that Kurt Russell was the Thing. I just don't. Yeah, because that would have been, to me, that's a cheat because we were with McCreary the whole time. To the point where he blew up the alien. So I don't buy that. But Childs could have been. Of course, they never tell us. Oh, did Carpenter finally? See, there's so much rumors going around. The Carpenter said neither were the Thing. That's my take. Is that neither one of them were. That was my original take when I saw the movie. And I was just kind of depressed because I thought, oh, they're both going to die out there. but I guess they killed the monster, so whatever, right? And then you start getting into all the conspiracy stuff, and what do they really mean? And is this guy really the thing? And blah blah blah. But that was my take, was that it wasn't, neither one of them was the thing. But I love this movie. It's a great movie. I can watch it endlessly. And again, Kurt Russell's charm has a lot to do with that. Stealth X5 for $2 says, hello, Stealth. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it very much. Am I missing? Oh, here we go. Fox Mulder for 10 says, did you ever look into the original idea for the sequel to Close Encounters, which morphed into E.T.? Yes, I have done it. Well, I don't know if I call it a deep dive, but I've done a dive into it. It was going to be based on a real case from the 1950s and a horror film called Night Skies. That is absolutely right, Fox. And then I was, where was I? I just had this conversation on somebody's show. It might have been Graybeards. I can't remember, but yeah, it was Graybeards because I was drawing E.T. in with the Predator. And yeah, so the story goes that, and I can't remember why Spielberg and Rick Baker got into a fight, but Baker was going to do the alien effects, and they got in a fight, and that was that. And so then Spielberg got Carlo Rambaldi to design E.T., which I think is a horrible design, by the way. I'll always have. I mean, it's a good design, though, for a little kid's movie, which I guess is what that is essentially. But because he's cute and has the big eyes and everything. But I just thought functionally, it didn't really work, you know? And, but yeah, it was originally going to be a horror film called Night Skies. And Spielberg sort of, at that stage in his career, was still into uplifting, you know, fun PG type stuff. And so he went the other way. And I don't know if that was the cause for his split. I can't remember because I read the article on it. It might've been in Fangoria or one of those magazines. Thank you for the $10, Fox. Okay, we already did that. We did that. Okay, so I'm caught up. Okay, the only real thing is Ben Grimm, says Green Laser. Crapping his childhood again. Chris, I don't see you as a big E.T. fan, at least not now. You might have been as a kid, but I'm guessing not as an adult. Henry Jeremick, good ending to the thing. You speculate your own ending. That used to frustrate me when I was younger, but now that I'm older, I kind of appreciate it. I appreciate the creativity behind it. And it's interesting because I think was it Christopher Nolan they were talking to, or was it, I think it was Nolan, basically, you know, because they were talking about, his dream movie in, what was it called? It just, you know, with the spinning top at the end, you know, was it real or was it imagined? Was it real or was it imagined? And, you know, you got a little bit of that in The Prestige as well, which oh God, I love The Prestige. But anyway, you know, allowing you sort of to draw your own conclusions and them saying that part of the experience of the movie is you getting involved as the viewer and providing something to the film. And everybody's going to provide something of their own personal to that film. And that makes the movie more personal. And so though it's frustrating on one end, because if you're a person like me that just likes everything sort of wrapped up in a bow, so, you know, don't keep me guessing. But at the same time, if they do keep you guessing a little bit, it makes you think. And there's nothing wrong with that. Inception. Thank you, guys. No, Madaman was close with contraception, but that's not quite exactly it. Oh, here it is. Quoth the Raven says, Rick Baker and Spielberg had the falling out because Baker had invested $700K and about 11 to 13 months in research and development for Night Skies, and Spielberg went in the other direction. That's why I thought it had something to do with the change of direction, the tonality. And I respect Baker. I mean, taking on Spielberg at that time, not the greatest decision you'd want to make for your career, but it didn't hurt him. You know, he never worked with Spielberg again, but he worked plenty of other. I've always been somebody that never burned bridges, and it makes me kind of a wimp sometimes. I admit it. And it kind of ticks me off about myself. But I do appreciate guys that'll take a stand for something that like that and say, hey, you're screwing me over here and I'm not letting you get away with it. And, you know, I don't know what actually any good came out of it, because Spielberg went and did his movie anyway, and it was very successful. And Baker continued on with his career and did okay for himself. So anyway, there you go. There's my top 5 alien films. Who knows? Next year it could change, but probably not. I did see advertisements for this, and I'm going to check it out. What was this? Kane, or where is it? Angela says, Kane said when you see his character in the film, it's real. Well, that would make sense. But was he there in the last scene? I can't remember. No, I can't remember. We're talking about Inception now. Was he there? And he left the room and then he went to see his kids? I can't remember. Yeah, okay. But again, Superman's, I mean, yes, he's an alien, but he's a human alien, so I don't really count that. This was just on the outside of the list looking in, Cat from Outer Space. No, there's a ton. You know what is good is that movie with Tom Cruise where he gets hit by the alien, or whatever, gets the alien blood on him, and he keeps reliving over and over and over again. I thought it was pretty good. And War of the Worlds, both versions actually is pretty good. Even I like the Spielberg Tom Cruise version as well as that. His favorite Nolan movie is Memento, which was his first one, at least his first one of any note. I believe it was his first film. And that's a movie that works backwards, but very clever. Nolan's very clever. Edge of Tomorrow. Thank you, Creative Faye. Appreciate that. I have seen Earth Girls Are Easy. Downtown Julie Brown was in it. And of course, Jeff Goldblum. Was it Jim Carrey in that too? Was in there with Jeff Goldblum? I think it was a very early Jim Carrey appearance. So anyway, like I said, there are tons. One of the worst movies ever made. But Paul Rudd got some mileage out of that on Conan O'Brien's show. So yes. Like E.T. is a 4-star film. I'm just saying, I just find it kind of annoying now. Kind of like I find the Goonies. Of course, I never liked the Goonies because the first time I saw it, how old was I when I saw the Goonies? I was late teens, early 20s, whenever that came out. And I felt like I was babysitting for 2 hours, a bunch of really loud, obnoxious kids. And I still feel that way. So, I'm very jealous of their hair. Invaders from Mars, Tim Burton. I think that movie sucks. I'm sorry. There's some good gags in it, but no. Kurt Russell and Soldier. I haven't seen that. One other Kurt Russell movie I liked was Stargate. I like that too. Okay, we could do this all day. Oh, did I say Mars? Yeah, I meant Mars Attacks. That's the Tim Burton one I can't stand. Invaders from Mars. I'm trying to remember if I've seen it. I think I have. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, right. Yeah, you guys are right. District 9. I know it's the one District 9 was like a 4-star film. I don't know. I never really got into it. They Live. Of course, that's Roddy Piper. But anyway, yeah, we could, like I said, we could go on all day, and we probably will, but I've got other things to do as well. So let's move on to our next little feature. Let's do, what we haven't done in like ages? Precious moments from yesteryear. And I want to go back to that right now and just kind of give us we're talking about aliens and stuff. Let's just have a feel-good moment from yesteryear, can we?
You are who you choose to be.
With a tear away from my eye. That could also be considered an alien movie. And that movie is great. Brad Bird, of course. What an abysmal failure at the box office that movie was. And it's so good. One of the best animated movies I've ever seen. And the ending, are you kidding me? It's like one of the greatest filmic ending, in my opinion. It's right up there with Planet of the Apes. Not because of the twist, but because it takes you and it crushes your soul, but then gives you hope at the end. You know, and it's like you're just at the bottom of the barrel. You're just, my children are weeping because the Iron Giant's dead. It's so sad. But then at that last scene where he's in the Arctic and he's starting reassembling himself, you're like, yes. Fantastic movie. Okay. That movie came out like 25 years ago, Jack. You know, you're past the statute of limitations on that. If you guys haven't seen it now, oh boy. Headless Bourgeoisie says it's like women except for the hope. Oh, well, go see it anyway. Go see, if you haven't seen it, you've really missed out on a gem. So Iron Giant. And like I said, the greatest ending, right next to Planet of the Apes. There, okay. 1999, 25 years ago. I nailed it. My son, who actually I took to see that movie, and he cried. He's texting me about comic books. And normally I'd love to talk about buying comic books, but not on today's show. Yeah, you're right. Spaceman says the worst marketed movie ever. It's E.T., a boy and his robot save the world. You know, it was also a good movie, but well, don't trust my critical analysis of John Carter because I love John Carter of Mars, the whole concept and everything and the stories. But I love that movie. I thought it was great. I thought they needed a better leading man, but that was a horrific, whether you like the movie or not, that is probably, that and Iron Giant are the two worst advertising campaigns ever for films and are mostly responsible for their failures at the box office is their poor marketing. Oh, that would have been great. Look at that. Brad Bird is also a big Will Eisner fan. Tried to make an animated Spirit film, but it never happened. Oh, that would have been awesome. Angry Gamer says he thought John Carter was decent. Yeah, like I said, don't trust my opinion on that film because I loved it before it came out. And but I did think it was really good. I felt the failure in that movie was another great ending too, by the way. Was the leading man. The guy playing John Carter he lacked the charisma that part needed to carry a film of that big a budget and that scope. If they'd gotten that thing off the ground when they originally planned, Hugh Jackman was going to be John Carter. But by the time they rolled around to actually doing it, they felt maybe he was a little too old because they were thinking sequels and all this kind of stuff. And Hugh Jackman would have been great. But, you know, there you go. Everybody's pretty much with me that they like John Carter. Well, no, wait a second. Evil One, nobody went to see John Carter, therefore thumbs down. That doesn't mean anything. It means bad marketing. Just because people didn't go see it doesn't mean it's a bad movie. I mean, generally, that's a good indication a movie sucks. But I think bad marketing campaign also can hurt. And again, it didn't. Maybe it's too niche of a concept, to draw a large audience. I don't know. Many of the concepts in it were stuff borrowed from Lucas and Spielberg and other things. So it wasn't really as fresh and new as it was when Burroughs wrote it. So, there's all that to consider, I suppose, as well. McConaughey, actually, I don't know if you're joking or not, but I could see that because he would have been a great as the Union soldier. He'd have been fine. Again, he's got personality. I'm not saying the guy that did it, I can't even think of his name. He was in Friday Night Lights, and he was Gambit in one of those X-Men movies. And but he's a supporting actor. He's not a leading man. And I thought that really helped him. I thought the girl that played Deja Thoris was fine. She was attractive. She was strong. All the things you wanted in that character. I thought she was good. I thought the special effects were fantastic. I liked the storyline. I liked everything about it. I just thought that if we'd had a more charismatic leading man, I think we would have had a different film. And I actually thought the layering of the story was really good. The John Carter, and getting over the death of his wife and all those kind of things. I thought there was really some nice stuff going on there. Taylor Kitsch, there he is. Sorry, Taylor. I liked you in the supporting role with what was that television show that God, what was it called? He was a Marine and his family got killed, and he's hunting down all the guys that killed Chris. Oh my gosh, I am getting old. The guy from Guardians, Chris Pratt, was in. Taylor Kitsch was like his buddy in that film, and he was good in that. But he didn't have to carry the film. Oh my gosh, why do I keep getting these messages? Oh, I'm getting my son is like keeps texting me deals he finds on like eBay and Heritage for old comics. Okay. Anyway, there you go. I could do a whole show on my feelings on John Carter, but yeah. Alrighty. So we've done that. One of the things I wanted to do. I thought this might be kind of fun. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have an intro for this, but maybe I do. It fits into this category, right? Where is it? Right here. Had to get a drink of water. I thought it would be kind of fun to look at all the old, well, these aren't all of them, but the ones that I had handy. No, we're not there yet. Hang in there. I'm very sensitive about my John Carter. Yes, he did Battleships after, which was, that was not good. Okay. I've got a bunch of layouts for Wonder Woman covers that never got used. Or at least I should say I have scans of them because I sold all these. But let's take a look at some Wonder Woman covers that almost was, but wasn't. I don't even remember what issue this is for. I think we'll find out here eventually. Most of these are from, I got called back by the editor on, it was Brian Cunningham was the editor on Wonder Woman. And Brian, if you're watching, I love you. But here's the, he was difficult because let me see, how can I put this? I had to do a lot of cover sketches for him. And he could drive guys crazy because he wanted so many cover sketches, to find the right idea. He generally ended up with a really great cover, but it was a little bit mind-numbing at times. And I got called back to a couple covers for Wonder Woman. And this was, I've got other versions of this. man, what number was this for? Well, what happened was they kept changing the story idea. So I would do like 5 cover sketches, and then they changed the concept. And then I have to do 5 more cover sketches, and then they changed it. I think I did, I think it ended up being 20 to 25 cover sketches for a single comic because they changed the story so many times, what they were going to do in the issue that I was supposed to do the cover for. It was crazy. I like this one a lot. I don't remember who it was that got killed. But again, these didn't get picked, I think, because they changed the concept. Let me see. Maybe I got a bunch of Conan Wonder Womans, but yeah, here we go. I think those were for Wonder Woman 84. Okay. And then the concept got changed. And then we went to this. I kind of liked both of these, actually. They're kind of. And then part of the same issue, I believe, was one, and I couldn't find those, but there's Wonder Woman in an alley, and some guy pointing a gun at her. They were actually kind of interesting too, because they're big figures of Wonder Woman, right? With just this mysterious villain with his gun on her. Torchbearer says, "Did you get paid for the layouts?" Yes and no. What you'd get is like $50 for doing cover layouts, but it wasn't, they made you do 20 cover layouts. You still got $50. Okay, so then that changed to her fighting this sort of other Amazonian goddess or something. So you can see this is still issue 84, right? So now I've shown you 6 cover sketches I've done for 84, and this isn't even all of them. This is just some of them. Spaceman says, I have to go. Thanks, Aaron. Bye, all. Thanks for joining us, Spaceman. Appreciate it. I'm always partial to bigger characters on covers because it kind of draws you in. It's more exciting. But I could go with either one of these. I think these, but again, the concept changed. Here's the third one I did for this. Okay, so now we've seen the concepts changed 3 times. I did 5 cover sketches for each concept. I'm not showing every single cover sketch I did, but that's 15, right, for one issue because they kept changing the story. I think this is still good, but it's my least favorite just because I think it's it's a close up and Jerry says, didn't the image of her holding up the rubble in the water become a splash page in an issue? Possibly, but it wasn't for the same story. This was done after my run on Wonder Woman. This is well after my run on Wonder Woman. Because this is Wonder Woman 84. I was working on Wonder Woman 20 through 34, something like that. 20 through 40, I think, that 2-year period in there. So I was 3-4 years removed from Wonder Woman when I came back to do these covers. Oh, wait, there's more. Okay, so we finally decided on 84, and I don't remember which one it ended up being. Oh, if you remember the cover where there's like a group of people grabbing her and she's reaching up and we're looking down at her, but she's reaching up like that. That ended up being 84, which is totally different than anything you just saw, right? Okay, so then we go to 85, which didn't take as many cover sketches. The one with the close-ups kind of, how many times have we seen that? This is kind of interesting, though, with the lightning strike here from this storm swirling around them and the lighting effect and everything. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Jiminy Cricket is posting, of course, Wraith of God, Fear Hollow early sign up links. If you have not signed up for that, guys, do it. There's no obligation or anything, but it does enable you to get the limited edition trading card went with your first order if you go ahead and order. But signing up just gives me an idea of the amount of people I have that are interested in the project. So, excuse me, you'll find a link in the description of the video, but also we got Jiminy Cricket and others posting that link in the chat. And thank you very much for that. So anyway, let me see, do I have any more for that issue? Oh no, we'll get to those. Oh, that's kind of fun. Where is it? If you remember, the issue ended up being her caught in like this kind of swirling vortex, Wonder Woman, and then there was like these 3 chick villains that were in the part of this maelstrom that were attacking her, and that ended up being the cover. It was a solid cover. It came out okay. Let's take a look now at some of the Conan Wonder Woman covers that didn't quite make it. Now the story behind this, which I've shared before, but they hired Liam Sharp was initially offered this series and he couldn't do it, so he turned it down. So then they came to me, and I said, "Heck yeah, I want to draw this." But they'd already given the covers to Derek Robertson, and I was like, "Why would you?" I was furious. So I said, "I'm not doing this series unless I'm doing the covers." So of course, like the little brat that I was, I went over everybody's head and went straight to Dan DiDio and said, "Dan, come on, man." And he said, "Well, who's doing the covers?" And I go, "Derek Robertson." He goes, "Why is Derek Robertson doing these covers?" And I said, "I don't know." It didn't seem like a Derek Robertson kind of thing. It just seemed random, you know? And so he said, "All right, I'll tell you what you can do. We're only going to do an alternate cover for the first issue, but we'll do alternate covers for every issue so you can do a cover." And I went, "Thank you." So Derek did all the regular covers. I did all the alternative covers, except for the first one where Liam Sharp did the alternative cover. And that was already done and paid for, so there's nothing they could do about it at that point. But it wasn't unusual to hire a cover artist before you'd ever hire the interior artist, which always ticked me off, right? Because they had to get these covers out for solicitations. And which seems dumb, right? Because that's 3 months in advance. You would think you'd have scripts and the artist that's drawing the series put together 3 months in advance, but how often they did not do that. Rarely was it done like that. So anyway, this was one cover for number 2, and it is kind of boring. Although you got, her, Wonder Woman and Conan, bloody swords, a bunch of dead guys laying around. I mean, it might have been all right, but that one didn't get used. What was my second cover? Oh, that was the one with the big crow on it, and Wonder Woman and Conan were like squaring off, and there was the big crow behind it in a red cover, which I colored those as well, which was kind of fun. Here's another one for issue number 2. Which I thought that would work okay, but it's not dynamic, at least in the sense of Wonder Woman. She's like having some sort of moment, where she's communing or something. And, Conan's up there going, we're about to get killed. And you got all these pirates coming up the mast of the ship. But I thought that would have worked out okay. Geekies, yeah, it's true. Gail Simone wrote this. I got the series from you at our first Arctic Comic Con. It's pretty cool. Oh, he's up there in Alaska. Yeah, that was great fun. I'd never been to Alaska before. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful, so scenic. What's up with the Pocahontas pose? I can't remember. It had something to do with her communing or, getting into some sort of mental, spiritual state. I can't remember what the deal was there. And then here we go for issue number 2 again. This one's not bad. I still like the one we ended up doing best, but But I wasn't given a particular number of sketches I had to do. I just did, when I got ideas, I would throw them out there and think, oh, maybe this is a good idea. Maybe this is a good idea. Usually we do like 3, right? But sometimes I would do 4 or 5 if I had a lot of ideas. Okay, wait a minute. All right. So those were just a few of the Conan ones. That was from issue number 2 that I figured out or found, excuse me. Now, you guys may remember I also did a Wonder Woman Halloween variant. Okay. I did 4 sketches for the Halloween variants. Okay. So we have one on the left is her as the Bride of Frankenstein, which I thought would have been pretty fun. But you got the Igor going, she's alive. And then there was this kind of sexy Vampirilla vampire one there with all these little goblins surrounding her. Paul, Conan was not licensed by DC. What happened was it was licensed to Dark Horse, and that comic was a Dark Horse DC Comics joint venture. So that's how they combined both. We're able to do that. But they can't reprint it now because Dark Horse no longer has a license to Conan. Conan's gone back to the actual Conan estate is now like, they're the ones producing those Conan series from Titan. So they're doing it themselves essentially. So they have the right now. Well, they couldn't reprint Conan Wonder Woman because Wonder Woman's in it and DC owns that. So you're never going to see Conan Wonder Woman reprinted, but it did come out in that hardcover collection, which was really nice. Yeah, if you want to get that. No, it isn't. And public domain is always tricky because like a story can go into public domain and the characters within that story can go into public domain, but the logo or the name Conan is trademarked. So you couldn't actually put it on the first, you could like do your own version of say, let's say Lord of the Black Corsairs, or I don't know, name a Conan story that's maybe might be in public domain, right? Well, you couldn't call it a Conan story. You could use Conan in it and you could use the story, but you still can't use the character or identify the character as the Conan because that's trademark. That's different than copyright. And so it gets it's like Doc Savage. It's just very, you're going to get sued one way or another, even if it's public domain. So you're better off not doing it. As long as somebody still owns something of it, you're potentially in trouble. Okay, so, and then I did these 2 other. Now, if I'd had my druthers, I would have done the Frankenstein cover because I thought it was the funniest. The one on the right is the one we ended up doing, where she's standing on top of the casket, and you got all these like Nosferatu vampires behind her going up to this sort of Wrightson castle back here. This turned out good. I really liked it. I am mad at myself though, because she's standing on top of the coffin and the coffin should have been open and she should have been standing in the coffin. And I don't know why I didn't think of that until it was too late, but the zombie one is okay. I mean, the zombie one's kind of fun, but I didn't want to draw Wonder Woman like all gross and decaying. I wanted to draw her attractive. And so, I wasn't really pushing for this one, even though it's actually still pretty good. So this would have been fun as well. Also, if you guys remember, I did a Teen Titans Halloween cover too, which was kind of fun. Or is it someone saying that she's standing on she's keeping Dracula inside the coffin by standing on it. Well, yeah, I guess if he had like a hand coming out, that would have been funny. But I liked how this one turned out. But that's the one that ended up getting chosen. So those were fun, those Halloween covers. There's one other I want to show you guys. This one was my regular run on Conan. I think this was for the second issue, my second issue of that run on Conan. Or pardon me, on Wonder Woman with Gale, the regular series. Not the Conan Wonder Woman one, but the regular series. Because she was fighting with Beowulf, a bunch of Viking guys in it. And I really like this cover, but it's not the one that got chosen. I don't like the one that got chosen at all, actually. Which one was it? Actually, this might have been for my first issue. God, I can't remember. But anyway, it didn't get picked. And I really liked it. I liked the energy of it. It had kind of a Frazetta quality to it. I just thought it was really nice for what we were doing. Now, the thing about this, the first story arc, when I was drawing Wonder Woman, Gail was writing, we had the 3 different versions of Wonder Woman. You had this sort of Viking version. There was she teamed up with the 70s Sword and Sorcery DC characters, Claw the Unconquered. So there was the barbarian version of Wonder Woman. Then there was this Viking version of Wonder Woman. And then there was the medieval version of Wonder Woman. And they're on the cover, the very first issue I did. There was 3 panels of Wonder Woman in each 3 of these costumes. And then there was the traditional Wonder Woman kind of down at the bottom doing this. And that was a pretty good cover. That was the very first issue I did. The second issue I just remembered was this close up. What do you call it? A mid shot where he cuts her off at the chin and she has the claw hand from Claw the Unconquered kind of doing this, but you don't see her face or anything. And I was just like, I would have rather done this. But anyway, this got rejected. But my point was I designed these 3 costumes for Wonder Woman, and they were all pretty good. And I was like, they never made action figures or anything out of them. And I never could understand that. It's like, why not do these different versions of Wonder Woman? It would sell. People like Wonder Woman, give her like these different costume versions. You can sell it 3 different times. But that's just the way it goes. My luck in marketing or merchandising has not been great with the big 2. Paul Taylor says Wonder Woman could be the Viking version. I like that. They were lame, Aaron. You mean my designs, or DC was lame for not doing it? Let's get this cleared up. If you're calling me lame, you're going to get a cannonball, but I don't want to cannonball you till I'm clear on exactly what we're talking about. Anyway, those are all my versions of Wonder Woman covers that didn't. Well, it's not all of them, but the only ones I could find. Hey, there's Eric Nilatowski. Sorry, Eric. Is joining us. I did a cover for Eric's comic way back. Still have it. Green says, I like your designs as DC is lame for not using them. Okay. All righty. Okay. So what else do I got? What else do I got for this crazy show of mine? This actually, look at this. So I got this in the mail. So House of M Companion. It's like this huge omnibus, right? And of course, the reason I got it is because I got stories in here. But what's the really cool thing? The really cool thing is, yeah, baby, right there. That's me. My Dark Beast cover, inked by the great Tim Townsend for one of the issues of Excalibur. This is one of the covers I hung on to because it just turned out so well. But yeah, they put it on the back cover. How about that? That's kind of cool. So yeah, this is living proof that I actually did work for Marvel at some point. Anyway, so they sent me one of these, but it's an omnibus, so I don't expect them to send me a ton, but it's very heavy. Now see, DC sent me 4 copies of the Wonder Woman omnibus. I still have 2 left to sell, actually. I should sell those. Geeky, what do I think of Graham Ingalls? I love Graham Ingalls. Mainly, I love Graham Ingalls because you can see what Wrightson. You can see how Wrightson was influenced by Ingalls, and so you look at some of his work and go, "Wow, I can see Wrightson in there." But it's the other way around. You can see Graham Ingalls and Wrightson's work, but you can just see what Wrightson got from him. And his Old Witch is just, it's the bomb, as the kids say. Wait a minute. Oh, no, wait, here it is. No, there it is. Green Laser says, I have the main omnibus of House of M. That one is still not out yet. Oh, this one isn't? I got this a couple of weeks ago, but that, of course, I maybe got it a month ahead of time too. Jeff Potts says, Aaron worked for Marvel Video or it didn't happen. I just proved it. I proved it right here. There it is. That's me. Is my name on here? Oh, they didn't. I took out my signature, but I swear that's me. I should do an episode where I just go over every book I did for Marvel just to prove that I did it. That's kind of now I can either say the politically correct answer or I can be honest. Michael Turner, of course, passed away from cancer at a very young age. It was incredibly tragic. And he was extremely popular. I liked his work in the same way I like McFarlane's work. I don't think it was particularly well drawn, but I thought it was incredibly cool stylistic drawing. And he certainly was more successful than I've ever been. So who am I to cast dispersion? Evil One says Marvel isn't worth bragging about. Well, they're not now, but back then they were. Let's see, Corn Dog knows I was on Ms. Marvel for 2 years. He remembers that. Let's see here. Paul Taylor for 10. Cool. I came in late, so I'll have to watch the rerun. Yeah, we've got there's some pretty good stuff on here. A lively conversation about movies and comics and, that kind of stuff. That's a good way to put it. He was very young. So who knows where his style would have evolved to at that point. Bob and Casey, of course, what a jerk to speak of the dead that way. Well, okay. What a jerk for setting me up. Cannonballed anyway. There you go. That's my first one of the day. Thank you, Bob, from Bob and Casey. Yeah. When everybody else of my generation was doing cool things, I was working on What the, and just thankful that I actually had a job. Oh, here we go. Now it's Aaron bagging on the dead. Oh my gosh. All right. Yes, I did. I did do the thigh-high boots and the, yes, that's the version I did before she became Captain Marvel. See, that really ticked me off. Here we go. Don't get me started. But Ms. Marvel is not Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is Captain Marvel. And I love Captain Marvel. I love Starling's Captain Marvel. I even liked his son with the white hair, that Captain Marvel. I thought that was pretty cool. In fact, I drew 4 issues of it. But I never liked Ms. Marvel becoming Captain Marvel. I want Ms. Marvel to stay Ms. Marvel. But in this day and age, that can't happen. Because you have to take women and turn them into men. You have to. Anyway. Yeah, she had the sash. And yeah, I did 2-year run on there. And like any foolish writer, and all of them are foolish when they come to me and say, Aaron, what would you like to draw? Because they always get the same thing. Dinosaurs, monsters, and in this case, MODOK. And Brian, Brian. He I think he's back in gaming, video game writing. Doggone it. He was a writer on, I'll think of it in a minute. He was a writer on Ms. Marvel. And he said, what villain should we use? And I said, MODOK. And we used MODOK like crazy. I love MODOK. And now, like any good comic artist looking to make a buck, I sold all my Ms. Marvel pages, but I kept all the MODOK pages. And the Sleepwalker was also in that series. And I love the Sleepwalker, so I kept all the Sleepwalker pages. Brian Reed, thank you, Major Corn Dog. Brian Reed wrote some really fun stuff. And he used not Multiple Man, but Machine Man in there. And we did, oh my gosh, we had some fun with that. And then she ends up in Monster Island with all these giant Kirby monsters. Sound familiar? Like every series I do, the hero ends up on Monster Island in some way, shape, or form. So that's what happened with Damage. I talked Robert Vendetti into going to Monster Island, DC's Monster Island. I talked Brian Reed into going to Monster Island with Ms. Marvel. With Gail on Wonder Woman, it was the Barbarian stuff, that I wanted to do. And she wanted to do it too, so it worked out really well. But that's the funny thing. People ask me, what do you want to draw? And I'm like, dinosaurs, barbarians, monsters. That's it. And then MODOK, of course. Well, Zemnu the Living Titan would be very high on that list as well. So I even did that to John Layman when I did the Sentinel Squad miniseries. Layman wrote it. He's like, well, what do you want to draw? And I'm like, dinosaurs. So he takes the Sentinel Squad and takes them to Middle Earth with Khazar and everything. And I have them fighting giant dinosaurs. It was good fun. Yeah, let's see. Indeed, isn't Zemnu the original Hulk? He is. If you go to Journey into Mystery number 62 from 1961, I believe, Zemnu, it's his first appearance, but he's called the Hulk. It says, I created a living Hulk. And then he later became Zemnu once the green Hulk that we all know and love became the Hulk. But yes, that I tried to buy one, but the guy I was going to buy it from had sold it before I got there. It was still on his website, but he'd already sold it. I talked to him at San Diego. He goes, I don't have one of those. I go, it's on your website. He goes, I must have already sold it. So I have yet to get that issue, but I'm still digging. The Savage Land. Thank you so much, Mark. That's what it's called. Leg Kick Zemnu would be a monster. And yes, of course. I didn't say he wasn't. Did I say he wasn't? But I just meant I was categorizing him as a Marvel villain along with MODOK. I mean, you could argue MODOK is some sort of weird mutant monster thing. So I don't, but my son does. I don't buy statues. I was not going to get pulled into that and start collecting all these Marvel statues and have no place to put them. They take up too much room. So I have a Man-Thing statue. I think and I have the Planet Hulk statue. Those are the only things I have. I have no busts, even though I am seriously thinking about doing a Wraith of God bust. So we shall see. You must be joking. You must be joking, Marcus. You must be joking. Why am I keep getting buzzed? Okay. My son keeps texting me. He's not aware of the fact that I stream every Sunday from 4 to 6. Okay. MODOK figures. No, I don't have any shelf space left. I have no shelf. I will not buy action figures and I will not buy statues or busts. I have no place to put them. I mean, I literally have no place to put them. I would have to get rid of some of the stuff I already have. And I'm already to the point where I did get rid of half my toys, but the ones I kept are the ones I really want. So there's really nothing left for me to get rid of. So yes, I understand, but there would have to be a space would have to open up. A toy would have to move out, thus allowing room for MODOK to move in. Yes, it is actually. Someone's going to send me one. They probably will. I'm going to get a MODOK whether I want it or not. I mean, I do want it, but I don't have any place to put it. Yeah, get a bigger house. Okay, man, that might be the answer. All right, so let's see. We did that. We did the Wonder Woman stuff. We did Precious Moments from yesterday. Talked about the Iron Giant. Oh, you know, I almost forgot. We can't forget about this. Just drink a little water there, get a little parched. Crash McCreary. Who is it, you say? Who is this guy? What's he do? What's he all about? Let's find out. He's a character designer. Not a character designer, more like a film monster creature character designer. Started with Stan Winston, but there he is. There's Crash himself. Best well known for his work on Jurassic Park. But there's old Crash right there. What can I tell you about Crash? I can tell you a little bit about him if I go to his biography. But let me put up a nice little picture here of some of his Jurassic Park work. So he did all these like pencil drawings of dinosaurs and concept stuff for Jurassic Park, which is where I first saw his work. Now, Crash was born to an Air Force family in Colorado Springs. How about that? He spent his early childhood in a vagabond lifestyle of a military. Most of his training began from observing nature, where he gained a deep appreciation for the natural order of things. Blah, 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 blah. He delved into the study of paleontology and soon found the marriage between factual science and the powers of the imagination to be the perfect testing ground for creating what was once only a world of fantasy. Crash made the proclamation that when he grew up, he was going to go do dinosaurs. Well, he received a scholarship to the Art Center College of Design in Pasadena. That's where I should have gone instead of film school. I should have gone to Art Center. Graduating with a BFA in illustration in 1988, the same year, and that's about when I would have graduated too. I would have been in Crash McCreary's. I was in film school at USC when he was in taking his classes at Art Center. That's what I should have done. Oh well. The same year he met Stan Winston, consequently establishing a working relationship that would last for 12 years. Crash's first design challenge was Predator 2. How about that? Predator 2 was okay. Wasn't Danny Glover in that? I think he was. It was okay though. Let's take a look as I continue to read here. Let's take a look at some more of Crash's Jurassic Park illustrations. There's a nice running T-Rex. Ooh, look. 30 out of 7,500. That's not exactly rare. 7,500, but I'd still wouldn't mind having one of those. So it's apparently some sort of print or something he's got going. So anyway, so he teams up with Stan Winston. His first job was, of course, Predator 2. And he collaborated with Tim Burton on Edward Scissorhands. He says here Burton was indeed a hero of Crash's, and such Crash reveled in the collaboration. Incorporating the facial features of actor Johnny Depp. Crash translated Burton's concepts into 3 different illustrations, one of which was selected as the final look for the character. Immediately following that, he went to James Cameron's epic science fiction sequel, Terminator 2. How about that? With Cameron's background in art direction, Crash was challenged to satisfy the eye of the brilliant artist as well as director. Is Cameron a brilliant artist, really? Or are they just kissing up to him? Cameron had Crash designing for what came to be a $205 million box office sensation, of course. Then he worked with Tim Burton on the Penguin makeup for Batman Returns. How about that? Who I would have preferred not even be in that movie, but, well, enough about that. So then he went on to Jurassic Park, which we just featured a couple of drawings from Jurassic Park. There's a whole new vision of dinosaurs, a whole new take on a kind of movie that had been done a million times before, essentially breaking the mold. Oh, he got to perform as the raptor he designed, donning the full-size raptor suit himself. How about that? So he worked as a puppeteer on the set of Jurassic Park as well. That's pretty cool. So after Jurassic Park, did Interview with the Vampire, Tank Girl, Island of Dr. Moreau, which had some great creature effects, but not a great film. And I'm a Brando fan, but that movie wasn't great. The Relic by Peter Hyams. I have never seen that. That was a big monster movie, wasn't it? Can I check this out? Many people may not know this. I don't know. Maybe you do know it, and maybe I just didn't know it. But he also worked on another one of my favorite animated films, Rango. Look at those. That's a great little illustration there. I can't tell if that's digital or not. I don't. Yeah, it looks. I'm looking at the genes right now here, and that looks digital to me. So it looks like a pencil sketch that he scanned in and then did digital coloring. But I love the. I remember this lizard guy from Rango. It's fabulous. That was an offbeat kind of fun movie. Okay, Relic. People are saying, Evil One says Relic is one of the best. All right. Paul Taylor, what's a rank? You have, oh my gosh, Paul. This is what happens when you live in Canada. You just don't get the finer things. This is a Bad Bill. He's a, looks like a, oh my gosh. Why don't you just put me in the retirement home now? Iguana, not an iguana, guys, help me out. Those orange and black lizards. What the heck am I trying to say? You know, the orange and black desert lizards. This, Paul Taylor, this is Rango. He was a chameleon that was a pet, got lost in the Arizona desert and came across a small town full of little animal creatures, and he became a Gila monster. Thank you. Dear Lord, I'm an idiot. The Gila monster, yes. So there's his drawing for Rango. So it's like this lizard western, but there's like there's, you know, like possums and different mice and things like that. And it's terrific. It's very, very offbeat, but if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. It was directed by the same guy who directed Pirates of the Caribbean. Thus, Johnny Depp voiced Rango. There's a good way to describe it right there. Rango is a spaghetti western animated movie. Yes. Yeah, it's not great. You're not going to get me in an elevator pitch and go, oh yeah, Aaron, that's a great idea. Here's a full color illustration he did of Rango. There he is. That Paul Taylor that's a really good shot of what Rango looked like in the film. I actually have a Rango action figure. It's pretty expensive. It came with the little possum girl. So there's 2 action figures in this little set of 2. Just watch Five-O Goes West instead. I love Five-O Goes West. I did. I really liked that one. I liked it better than the first one, actually. So anyway, there you go. But you know what else Crash worked on? Maybe you guys remember this. Yeah, baby, Pirates of the Caribbean. This would have been the sequel with the Flying Dutchman. He also worked on Small Soldiers, Inspector Gadget, Galaxy Quest. Some people say the greatest Star Trek movie of them all. And I wouldn't necessarily argue with that. It's I love Galaxy Quest. Worked on End of Days. What Lies Beneath? Robert Zemeckis. How come it doesn't even mention? It doesn't mention Pirates, and it doesn't mention Rango. That's just outrageous. What kind of bio is this? But anyway, to wrap it up, Crash is a member of the Screen Actors Guild. His work has been featured in Cinefex magazine, The Hollywood Reporter, Daily Variety, Barbara Walters' Most Fascinating People, In Hollywood, Extra Entertainment Tonight, Movie Magic, Jurassic Park DVD, The Making of Jurassic Park, The Making of Terminator 2, Makeup Magazine. I've never heard of Makeup Magazine. I want to get Makeup Magazine. I bet it has some cool stuff in it. Fangoria Magazine, remember that. The Museum of Natural History, the Museum of Moving Image, as well as many other periodicals and newspapers worldwide. He worked on Ang Lee's Hulk? Really? Oh, there it is. Pirates of the Caribbean. Jim Henson's Time Dogs. What is that? The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Van Helsing. Stephen Sommers, Van Helsing. Stephen Sommers directed The Mummy and Van Helsing. I went to film school with him. I think he was a year older than me, but we were in the same production class at the same time. Elias Salkind's Abominable Snowman. Elias Salkind's. I don't know. I'm familiar with that. And Universal's Submariner. They haven't done a Submariner movie. Are they working on Submariner? Did they work on it and then can it? I remember some talk of a Submariner film a while ago, but then I know he appeared in really stupidly in where did the Submariner appear? In one of those bad Marvel movies, just like a year or two ago. Barb Rogers, Ms. Solar Terror for $5 Canadian. Thank you so much. Send me a super sticker. Thank you so much for that, Barb. I appreciate it very much. Was it The Terrible Hulk with Jennifer Connelly? Yes. It was not a great Hulk. That's what it was, Black Panther 2. A Submariner script film got canceled. The script was nuts. I'm sure it was. Black Panther 2, yes, it was Black Panther 2. Oh, there we go. Look at this. Look at this illustration of Davy Jones. I love the that was great design. That whole squid head thing. I just love that. And the lobster arm. That's some pretty creative stuff. I really like that. And Bill Nighy was the actor that portrayed him? It was great. Yeah, the only good thing about the Van Helsing movie was Kate Beckinsale. That you can say that about every Kate Beckinsale movie. Although the Underworld stuff was actually pretty good, I guess, for kind of a B monster movie. And I have Kevin Grievous, if you're watching, that didn't mean anything wrong with the script. I just meant, they're kind of elaborate B movies, but they're very popular, and she's very, very attractive young lady. Barb says, I'd rather gift memberships, though. Comics Kid, hey, I don't have my membership thing set up. I don't even know what that means. I need to check into that. I've been doing this long enough. I should know what that means, and I don't. Yeah. Everybody ripping on the Mexican or the Aztecian Namor. That was so bad. Anyway, a little more Crash, because there's just a ton of really cool drawings he did. This is where film work is fun if you're working on projects like this, I would think. Kulk Khan? Kulk? What does that mean? Kulka Khan? I know who Shaka Khan is. Paul Taylor says Kate Beckinsale was at her hottest in Pearl Harbor. That movie got such horrible reviews. I never went and saw it. Oh, I didn't know this either. Check this out. He worked on Planet of the Apes. Now, Planet of the Apes, of course, with the Mark Wahlberg version, terrible movie. But oh my gosh, the Rick Baker makeup in it. If you just watch it for the monkey makeup, and there's some really great performances in there too. Or some really good performances, but like people playing monkeys, the different people that, played the monkeys. Although Charlton Heston was in that, and he wouldn't wear the monkey teeth. So when he's dying in bed, and makes his little line, it's kind of a reverse line from the original Planet of the Apes. But yeah, Charlton Heston's in the monkey, and he wouldn't wear the false teeth, which really pissed off Rick Baker. But it's Chuck Heston, so what are you going to do? But there's some great drawings there. His pencil drawings are just so nice. Look at those. All right, now this is The Thing, right? This is not The Thing, but the what was the movie we were just talking about that you guys recommended? This guy, The Remnant, or what was it called? Not The Remnant, but what was it, you guys? Come on. I'm scrolling through the scroll here trying to find it instead of waiting for you guys just to come up and tell me. Ronan says Rick Baker seems to argue a lot with big names. Yes. Barb points out that the gorilla has a lobster on his head. Relic. There it is. Torchbearer Studios, thank you so much. This is the relic, right? Isn't that what this drawing is from? Yeah, everybody's jumping in saying the relic, yep. Now, of course, Pastmaster Dan says Soylent Green is people. I believe Chuck Heston did have his teeth in Soylent Green. Pretty sure he did. Kerry Gamble does designs like these as well. He does. Terry Gamble's really good. I haven't talked to him in ages. That's a cool drawing, though. I love that monster. I'm going to have to check out the relic. Okay, so if you wanted to get a book with Crash's work in it, there isn't, as far as I know, there isn't an actual published sketchbook or anything. But there was, as Creative Faye pointed out earlier, there is a YouTube show where they featured him and kind of did like a video sketchbook. So if you look up Crash McCreary on YouTube, it'll probably come up. Now, he did do this book with Adam Rubin called El Chupacabras, a bilingual tale of the legendary creature known as El Chupacabra. So this is kind of fun. So if you want to get a Crash McCreary book, this would be the one to look for, because I think this is the only one. That's correct. Soylent Green was indeed Edward G. Robinson's last movie. Yeah, see? Yes, this is true. The Jurassic Park book has the dinosaur drawings. Creative Face says the relic was so-so, but was the monster cool? That's all I care about. When I go see monster movies, it's like, is the monster cool? Then that's good enough for me. I mean, seriously, the only really good Jurassic Park movie was the first one. And even that, the kids kind of ruined it for me. But it's still pretty good. And I just watched the rest of Jurassic Park movies because I wanted to see the dinosaurs. I didn't give a rip about the plot or anything else. Soylent Green, of course. Yes, they are people. Now, see, if you haven't seen Soylent Green, you just ruined the movie for them. I'm not the only one with spoilers. Jeez. Paul says, yeah, the girl's a complete moron until the end when she becomes a computer genius. I know that was pretty handy. All right. Okay, so there you go. That's Crash McCreary. Very talented film design guy, creature design guy. Big fan of his work. Of course, I only show people on here that I'm a big fan of their work. So, all right, something I'm not a big fan of course, is people creating bad videos to try and convince us that monsters actually exist. Where are the people creating good videos? I'm not sure I can deliver any today, but we're going to try on this week's episode of... I just want to take a moment here as a kind of a public service announcement to, some people say, Aaron, why don't you stream more? Because I provide content. I don't just turn on the camera and start blathering. I provide content, and it takes time to put these shows together. I care. That's why you should be here every Sunday at 4:00 and hit that like and subscribe so I can keep on doing it and providing this kind of wonderful content for you people in your home. Okay. And if you bought any of that, I got a bridge. Actually, these shows do take me a long time to put together. Just want to say that Alien Romulus kind of sucked. And you're the second one in the chat to say that. So you're not alone there. Green Laser says, we are the monsters. Indeed. Captain Bitbo says you should blather more. Well, I do have the gift of verbal diarrhea, and often feel like I was at dinner. Speaking of which, here I go. I was at dinner with the Malibu guys, which we do every Saturday night at Comic-Con at San Diego. I get to go with the Malibu guys and other satellite Malibu people and other artists or whatever that worked at Malibu that want to hang out. And I dominated the entire 2 hours we spent at dinner. It was just the Aaron show. And I felt guilty afterwards. Did I let anybody else speak the whole time? And, but that's, yeah. The Portland Comic Book Show would always invite us to come to the extracurricular activities that they had for the guests of the show. Even if we weren't guests at the show, we were invited to the extracurricular activities because Shelley and I would keep the conversations going no matter if anybody wanted to talk or not. So, Paul's right. I'm on a lot of shows. I'm just only hosting this one and then Graybeards. So that's 2. And then we do the professionals, right? Which I'm hosting this week, by the way. It's return of the quiz show, game show format. Should be good times. So don't miss that one. Citizen Ronan says, Alien Romulus looked like a rehash of the original with whiny 20-somethings. I don't know. There's a lot of face huggers running around who's giving me the creeps. Now here we go. Did it feel like a fan film? Look at this. Well, you guys can discuss Alien Romulus in the chat while I bring up something much more horrifying. We just like to call these bad videos. No, this is a Russian Bigfoot. So now I clipped all these 2 weeks ago, so I don't really remember some of these. So I'll just present it and you guys tell me what you think, and we'll go through it together. Here's a shared experience. Here we go. Let's turn off the sound. All right. So what are we looking for here? Okay. You see him back there running around. Here he comes. Here he comes. Right here, right here, right here. Watch right there. There he is. Oh, yeah. I kind of like this one. You know why? You've got look at him jump around like a monkey. This is a Bigfoot performance. Okay. Look at him go. He's leaping around. He's not just strolling like some guy going to Walmart. This is a Bigfoot monkey action video. Now, of course, it's blurry, so we can't see Jack, but it's definitely, there's a costume, and the guy looks big. So, now could it be all digital? It could be. Right? It doesn't necessarily have to be a guy in a costume. It could be digital because it's so stinking blurry we can't tell. But you've got to admit that, again, if I'm teaching my Bigfoot video class and you bring this in, you're getting a higher grade for this because of the effort put into the performance of Bigfoot. Let's watch him again. Look at him. He's just leaping. And who does this? This is I think the first Bigfoot video we've seen with Bigfoot actually doing something that looks more animalistic or monkey-like than just human walking around. And speaking of animalistic, my dog's going ballistic. Why? Why do they deliver on Sundays? I just don't know. Anyway, so you guys can draw your own conclusions here. I think, though, performance-wise, not bad. Blurry-wise, that's next level blurry. So, Leg Kick says, could be why Kelsey hasn't been seen in a while. Eric Up says, that's how you know it's real. Of course, if it's blurry, it's real. Do you know, why don't dogs ever get hoarse? I mean, Santiago says, we're still on the aliens thing. I don't know. Aliens, in my opinion, was better than Alien. The proof is Scott fumbled it with his so-called official work. I don't know. Aliens, in my opinion, was better than Alien. We're talking about the film, right? The proof is, that Ridley Scott fumbled it. I'm not a big Ridley Scott fan. I don't think he's a great director. I think visually he is, but I don't think he's a great director. But I don't know. I thought Alien was pretty good. I'm not sure what he means by that second part. Worst AI effects since Alien. Worst AI effects since Alien Romulus? Well, since Alien Romulus just came out, how could there be anything worse if it's bad? And so you guys prefer Aliens to Alien. You could argue that Aliens is a better movie, but I just felt that Alien was more of a shocking horror film. But yes, I don't have any problem with anyone thinking that Aliens is a better movie. Oh, he's saying Ridley Scott's ideas in Prometheus and Covenant were ape poop crate. Yeah, those were not great movies. Sequential Treasures says that was an audition for being the next King Kong stunt double, totally fake. So he's not buying the leaping monkey Bigfoot. But I'm telling you, I'm kind of digging the effort put into it. Now, this I have the title on this is Bigfoot or Bear. So let's see. Oh, there's a photograph. That's it. There's no movie here, folks. Sorry. It's just this trail cam photo. Bigfoot or bear, or completely fake. It kind of feels like it really could be something, but it would have to be a bear, wouldn't it? I mean, the feet are all wrong. I don't know. It doesn't have humanoid feet. It got animal feet, or what appear to be, this kind of action back here. On the back of his feet. What does Paul Taylor, our resident biologist, have to say about this? Yeah, it has a little tail. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a bear. Creative Faye goes, no, it's a man in a costume. I'm not saying that isn't what it is either. Headless Bigfoot. Yeah, well, this is going to make it into Wraith of God 3, the Headless Horseman and the Headless Bigfoot. Wow, should I have Wraith of God face off with Bigfoot at some point? It almost makes sense, doesn't it? Jiminy Cricket says, that's no bear. The legs are too long. Okay. Of course, we got people suggesting this might be Kelsey. It's a hairy Dr. Seuss creation, says Green Laser. Blurry edges look bad, says Henry Jeremick. Okay. Shell Obama says Sheeple Hunter. Bear's legs don't bend like that. Okay, well, so we got a dude in a costume or actual Bigfoot. The fact that we can't see his head means it's looking down, means he probably didn't want to show it because he didn't have a good mask. But anyway, there you got that. The fur looks okay, but it is kind of blurry even for a trail. Trail cams are usually fairly in focus, but this is not. So once again, we must smell fakery here. Now, this is the Alaskan Bigfoot. Now, the first images you're going to see are of gorillas. So that's not the image. You have to look after this. So there's nice pictures of gorillas. But let's see what the Alaskan Bigfoot has to show us. Oh, there he is. There he is. There he is. There he is. We're not getting anything from this, really. Shadowy. There's a guy with some pants. Are we getting anything from this? I don't know if they expect us to believe about this. I mean, this is so out of focus that you can't even. That he could have a garbage sack tied to his head and you wouldn't know, right? I mean, look at this. Can we make anything out here? Look at that. The only positive grade I'm giving this person is that they actually made it so difficult to see anything that it's hard to debunk. So I guess that's a plus if you're making a Bigfoot video, but boy, not much going on here that is of help to us. And again, these short clips, if you're filming Bigfoot, why would you only film him in like 3-second clips or 2-second clips? You'd have like a minute and a half of video, right? So, but there you go. That's what you might see in Alaska if you're in the right spot. You might find some guy in a raincoat with a bone in his hand. Apparently, is that a bone in his hand? Is that a bone in his hand or a stick? Maybe. What can we gather anything from his face? I mean, is that his eye right there, and that's his nose? Maybe. Yeah, I don't even know what I'm looking at. All right, I'm going to give this guy a D in the class. It's just sorry. I don't like that. Art of Roy says, sun bears, when they stand up, look like a man in a suit. Okay. I'll buy that. Sun bears are kind of weird looking. Jeepers Creepers. That wasn't an alien movie though, was it? That was just like a monster movie. I like Jeepers Creepers, actually. Well, that's what I think. I think it was a rain slicker hoodie. Henry Jeremick getting in his plug for, or his request in for, yeah, I think I'm going to have Karan Kaiser Stone and Stroman. They're both possibly going to show up on the next Graybeards. Because Karan will be the guest host, and then Larry would be the guest star. So, but you want us to throw? We did throw up Alien Legion before, and it got shot down. But I might throw it up again, because we did X Factor. If you remember, we ended up doing X Factor when Larry was on last time. So, okay, that's me, Professor Lopresti. Okay, this, I don't even know why I'm showing this. This is so bad. I don't even know what to say except this. Here's your comic relief for this weekend. This is some, okay, look at, here's a still frame before I even start the video. This is clearly a guy facing us backwards with his legs out to the side, and there's his arms right there, and there's his head. That is clearly what this is. Okay, but then as you start the video, it gets blurry and looks totally different. So watch this. Okay, you see his head here. Those are his arms. Those are his legs. He's a skinny dude, but there you go. And he's wearing a Flintstones outfit. Okay, that is clearly what we're seeing here. Now let's start the video. Now watch him get blurry and creepy. Yeah, blurry. See? Now he's all blurry and creepy. Is that the chicken man? What is that? I don't know. It must be a cryptid of some sort. No, you just showed us it's a dude. Look there's a dude right there. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? This is an F. I'm not even going to show it again. That is an F. You bring that to my class, you are failing, and I'm making sure you get kicked out of school. Not only are you failing the class, you are no longer allowed in the university. You're gone. Terrible. Actually, you're right. It is real. It's a dude with his back to us. Oh. Where's the effort? Why would you do that, post it on, and there's no effort put into that at all. That is an epic fail. But I just had to show you what we should not be looking for. Okay, now here's the problem with this one. This is allegedly in Paraguay. Now I'm turning the sound off because I don't want to get struck, but these kids are speaking English. They just happen to be vacationing in Paraguay. I mean, come on. Anyway, here we go. So here's there he is. Okay, that's fake. But okay, so the kid's going, "Hey, Dad," or whatever. Speaking it, he doesn't look like he's a kid from Paraguay. He looks like a white kid out in like Connecticut. That is just. I like that the quick moment, the leap there. That's nice. A little bit of action. I don't know why this thing is. They're saying that it could be. They're not saying it's Bigfoot. They're saying that it's this other creature I'd never even heard of, but apparently smokes cigars and drinks whiskey. I do like him jumping up in the tree. That's a nice little touch. But because you're telling me it's from Paraguay and you got a white kid that speaks English in the video, I mean, okay, now your effort is really annoying me. So I'm going to give this one I like the jump. The jump's nice. It's out of focus, so you can't really see it very well. I'm going to go C-. I mean, it's below average. It's a little bit below average. I expect a little more from my students. So I don't know what this guy is. He smokes cigars and drinks whiskey, but he's a cryptid. Save me. Okay. Jerry Roscoe claiming perhaps it's Graham. Yeah, and two people now claiming it's Graham. Some person says I'd say Kelsey, but he's too thin. All right. What do we got? Oh, Indonesian swamp monster. Oh God, I got a lot of them this week and they're all bad. Okay, this is an Indonesian swamp monster. You guys tell me what you think here of this. So he's over here. This is him right here. There he is. Can you see? Look at these guys. They're terrified. There's this. Oh, he's so terrified. He's going to go down there and shake his hand. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Look at the swamp monster. What do you make of it, Joe? I don't know. So, and then he just disappears into the swamp. Of course, they don't actually have a shot of him going underwater. They show the shot of him after he's already allegedly gone in the water. This is their friend covered in trash. Is it Garbage Man? It could be. So he's got one arm and the rest of him is just buried in their gunk. I mean, that might be a suit too, that they just glued stuff on. God, what a pathetic effort. Carbon dioxide is pining away for Ed Wood compared to this. Go home, swamp monster, you're drunk. Yeah, Paul Taylor says, and then the croc grabs him and then it gets good. Oh my goodness. There he goes. So he's sunk under there. That's a real life creature from the Black Lagoon stuff right there, folks. Wow. All right. So this is my favorite. We've shown this one on before, but this is my favorite fake Bigfoot video. It's brutal too. You guys know this one. The guy rips the hunter in half. Look at him. Just rips him in half. Look at his torso just dangling, or the hunter, And then here comes the big, and then down the hill he goes. And this is where it looks fake right there. He doesn't have enough movement in the body. It's bouncing like a CGI image. But this right here is pretty cool. I like this. You know, I love this. And then right here we kind of lose it. But that's quality. Abominable Snowman. Like this hunter. Like what happened to him? Did anybody report him missing? I mean, he literally rips this dude in half. Look at that. It's so gross. But then he falls down the hill. He kind of bounces on the way down. It's like a Bumble because Bumbles bounce. But yeah, this is my favorite fake Abominable Snowman video I've ever seen. Again, just blurry enough that we don't have to catch the details. But so he rips this guy apart. And so his buddy, I guess, is filming his friend getting ripped apart because he's like, oh, better him than me. And then he's standing right here and Bigfoot just goes, I'm just going to skate right by you here and fall down the hill. So one more time just for good measure. I love him just bouncing down the hill. Wizard says, is there actually a gunshot in here? That he like shoots him? Is that the thing? Okay, I'll do it. Here we go. No, this doesn't have gunshot. This has like dumb music playing over it. Yeah, that's just dumb music. Yeah, so I'll have to look for the one with the actual gunshot in it. Oh, he says his friend tripped the Yeti. Okay. This is a cut scene from the Wampa in The Empire Strikes Back. That's right. He's like, well, yeah, what a good friend. Film him getting ripped apart instead of help him. Yeah. So anyway, that's all I got for you in the Bigfoot land. Oh, somebody sent me this picture. Someone identify yourself. I don't remember who sent me this. Pretty fake, but kind of fun. You've got what do you got? Gorilla heads on bear bodies or something. That's pretty good stuff right there. Carbon dioxide says dumb music. Somebody worked hard on that. Orta Broy says that's the Chenoo, of course. Maybe it is. Could be the Chenoo. Yeah, somebody who sent me this. Somebody in the chat sent me this. I can't remember. Was it Daniel Russell? Maybe somebody did. So my thanks to anybody out on safari in the Great Northwest getting pictures of these gorilla bears. So there's all sorts of just strange, bizarre cryptids around here. Oh, anyway, we got one more here. This is an actual photograph. It is not faked. This is real. And that's my grandson. Look how cute he is. Anyway, okay. I'll just do that real quick. Okay, so there you go, folks. That's pretty much the epic, massive show for this week. I don't think I forgot anything. You guys, I do have Wraith of God 3 early sign up going right now. I don't have anything to show you yet because I'm finishing up coloring the box, the comic box sticker that everybody got the last stretch goal for Kit Carter. So that's coloring. That goes to the printer tomorrow. And that'll be everything. Kit Carter will be completely out the door. I'm just waiting for it all to come back so we can ship it out to you. So then I'll begin working on Wraith of God as soon as I finish up coloring up that sticker. Either tomorrow or Tuesday at the latest is when I'll start working on Wraith of God. Then I'll have some stuff to show you. Some cover. I did show, I think on Graybirds, I showed the cover sketches to Wraith of God 3. And we have, of course, a mystery guest artist doing a painted version thing. Really, really cool. So I'm not showing that till the campaign launches. But please hit the like and subscribe, guys. I appreciate all the super chats. I appreciate everybody being here and participating in the show. I know there's a lot of other options. And I appreciate you taking the time to be here. A good crowd. Thank you so much. Please hit the like and subscribe. As I said, please do the early sign up for Wraith of God 3. You'll find the link in the description of this video. It doesn't cost you anything. Just put you on the mailing list so you can keep up to date on what's happening, and gives me an idea of how many people are interested in the project. So there you go. Art of Roy came in late and strong, says he backed all the books in KC, including movie posters. Thanks very much. Roy, got to talk to Roy a little bit, not in person, but online during the art auction last Sunday. That was nice to I guess, meet him in that sense. So anyway, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Kings Monday night. I assume I'll be there. I wasn't there last week because I was trying to get stuff formatted for Kit Carter, and I had to get it done. So probably be there. Tuesday, I'm hosting Professionals. We're doing game shows. So right here at 4:30ish Pacific time. And then Wednesday, Graybeards, where we should have at least one guest. We're trying to get Larry Stroman in. We'll see if he'll come on. But there you go. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Enjoy, or what's left of it. Enjoy your evening and a great week coming up ahead. And we will see you soon. Bye.